guys, welcome to my channel. My name is ReadingBear and I hope you are ready for some more stories. And today, we'll take a look at some new entitled people content. If you enjoyed my content, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and post some bear emojis in the comment. And now, let's dive right into the stories.
The first story is titled I Don't Work Here Lady Vacation Edition. So, I'm on vacation with my family. The hotel we are staying at has a nice free breakfast. It has one of those waffle machines as well. We walk down to eat breakfast. I'm wearing Batman lounge pants and a t-shirt. I make everyone a waffle because dads are the best, really because I don't want the kids to start pushing each other around hot metal. After I hand the waffles, I finally make mine and start to sit down, when I hear I'd like 2 waffles. Obviously I ignore it and sit down with my family. The lady follows me and says, "Crazy lady, didn't you hear me? I said I wanted 2 waffles. Me. Yay, I heard you. The breakfast's self-serve. You have to make them yourself. Crazy lady. I just saw you hand out waffles to these people. Get off your butt and do your job." Me. These people are my family. I don't work here. I'm on vacation just like you. Crazy lady. Listen here, you lazy. Crazy lady's kid. Look mommy, he's wearing Batman pants. She looks down, sees my pants. It finally clicks and she starts making her breakfast. Her husband walks up afterwards and tells me he's sorry and offers to buy me a lunch on him. He hands me a 20 and says sorry again. The next story is titled Apparently, I Should Have Said, Merry Christmas. So, I used to work in a grocery store, and still shop there every once in a while. Around Thanksgiving, one of the aisles get turned into a kosher for Hanukkah aisle. Early December this year, I saw one of my friends shopping in this aisle. I know for a fact he is Jewish. I was dressed about as far from the store's uniform as I could be while still wearing clothes. He and I talked for a while, and I left him with, "Happy Hanukkah." A lady quickly corrected me from the end of the next aisle. "You should have said Merry Christmas." I ignored her and went to stand in line at the deli, where I had worked before and still knew some employees. She decided to press the issue. I don't remember the entire conversation, but she eventually demanded to see a manager. Fortunately, one was nearby. He walked up and greeted me first, asking how my job at other company in other city was going. Suffice to say, the lady in question got a good talking to about how different religions handle various food-based restrictions. He added that if she accosted any customer or employee again over how they talk to people of these faiths, she would be banned from the store for the remainder of the holiday season. The next story is titled Apparently the old lady I always help in the grocery store thought I worked there. I do my shopping the exact same time every week in a large grocery store. There's a little old woman who usually does her shopping at around the same time. She has some mobility issues and doesn't buy much, so after a few times of seeing her having to flag down help every time she wanted something from a shelf above shoulder level, I approached her and asked if she'd like a shopping companion. It took me under 10 minutes to get everything on her list and she was very gracious and grateful, even offered me a few dollars, which I didn't accept of course. I didn't give this a second thought. I wasn't raised to question whether you take 10 minutes to help an old woman in the grocery store or not, it's just what you do. So next week when I saw her again, I asked if she'd like someone to shop with her and she was again very grateful for the help. It became our usual routine that whenever I spotted her, usually every other week or two, I'd give her a hand. One week I didn't do my shopping at the usual time, I worked a little late, and when I came in there was a big fuss at the customer service desk, involving my shopping friend and a young man. I started to go over to be sure everything was all right, and hear the young man saying, "What do you mean no one with that name works here?" He had a name tag on. My mom saw the name, right ma? And she says he did. And the flummoxed customer service kid is saying he really doesn't have anyone by that name who works there. The young man is going, "What do you mean? Did you fire him? He was here last week, right ma?" And I realize it's my name, and the potential source of confusion. I go in for shopping immediately after work, and my work uniform is a maroon shirt and khaki pants, with a name tag. The grocery store I shop at has white shirts, any kind of pants you want, and a maroon apron with the store's logo. So a little similar. I go over and she gleefully cries, "There you are. I want you to meet my son." And he started telling me how grateful he is I was taking time out of my work to personally help his mom shop, and now that he's in town he wanted to say thanks in person and give me some money, or at least put in a good word with your manager at the store. So could you point them out so I can speak with them? Not that one though, that one thought you'd been crap canned. I explained the confusion and they were both so touched. It was one of the most poignant moments of my life, and definitely the most meaningful I've ever had in a supermarket. The next story is titled Guy Wants Me to Wait When He Is Blocking My Driveway. The house next to mine is empty and for sale. The previous owner died from old age and the real estate agent let people walk around the property and look around. I live in a fairly rich area with nice houses, and they attract snobs who want to move there. I just got home from school after a 3-hour final exam, so I was really tired. I bike to school every day, and because of Corona, my school has 3 days a week online. I live in Sweden, and we didn't have a lockdown. Unfortunately, I had to bring almost every textbook home, which made my backpack very heavy. All of this got me in a bad mood. So, when I get home, I see this big BMW parked right in front of my driveway, taking up the whole street. It's very narrow. I get off my bike and lead it toward the mailbox to signal that I live there. They don't see me. I try again and they see me, but they just ignore me. Now I'm pissed, so I go up to their window and knock. The man rolls it down and asks in a snarky voice. Man. What? Me. Excuse me, you're parked in front of my driveway, and I can't get in. Man. Sure, like you live here. Me. Yes I do, and I can't get my bike in. Man. Even if you do live here, you just have to wait. Besides, you should be grateful that we are interested in this house. He said that like I should be in awe of his presence. He rolled his window back up before I could retort and continued looking at the house. At this point I'm tired, I'm pissed, and I just want to sleep, so I start forcing my way through. The man opens the window and shouts. Man. Are you crazy? Me. Move or your car will get damaged. He honks as loudly as he can, but I continue. He starts the car and aggressively drives off. I park my bike and go to sleep. The next story is titled Customer Rings His Own Food. I'm sorry if this is the wrong subreddit for this. It's a funny story and I feel like this is the best fit. I work for a very popular quick food chain that started in the Midwest. During COVID, we had to close our lobby for obvious reasons, so we resorted to putting up a tent, the ones you'd see at fairs, to take orders outside in addition to our drive-thru because we can get very busy, but we also don't want to waste labor by having someone out there all day. So we just send someone to run out after we get X amount of cars lined up in the drive-thru and it remains unmanned otherwise. One day, we are having a slow afternoon. I work in kitchen and an order starts to pop up on the screen, which is weird because we have an overhead system that gives kitchen the audio when someone is taking an order in drive-thru, so I know we don't have a guest in drive and we have our breaks done, so it isn't one of my coworkers' food. I call up to Frontline to ask who's ordering and they are at a loss. So I look at the screen again and it says that it's coming from the POS that we have outside. Our POS isn't the easiest to navigate, or at least wasn't at the time, and usually requires 3 to 5 days of training to get someone used to all the different menus on it and to get them to remember asking for sauce on orders with tenders and condiments on burgers. Turns out, some customer had decided to take his own order on the POS outside, without issue, and cashed himself out. We don't have a register out there, you can only pay with card, so we weren't worried about him stealing. He even added his own side of sauce, he gave himself a number for the order, and he tendered it to the right location. A few of us managers were curious if he would be interested in a job because we are always in recruit mode, but he politely declined. Everyone on shift thought this was hilarious and the story was circulating around the store for a week or so because we found it so funny. The next story is titled Never Heard Grandma Swear Before This. Ever since Grandpa died, my older brother and I took turns taking Grandma to the grocery store every week to do her shopping. Grandma cannot drive due to medical reasons, so one of us would take her down and help her with her shopping. During the height of COVID, we would go to her house and help her shop online and come back the next day to help her carry the bags in from the front porch and put stuff away. Grandma is the sweetest person I know. I once said in front of her when she asked me about the game I went to the night before that, Calgary sucks. And she went pale and I got a lecture on how young ladies don't say, sucks. So one day, we were on our grocery trip when Grandma had to use the restroom. She walked off and I stood by the cart waiting for her. Then a Karen came up to me and said, now that the old lady is gone, I need some help. I said, oh sorry, That's my grandma and she just had to step away for a moment. I think you can get help up front. Karen said, I don't care. You need to help me now. I'm not going all the way up front when you're here right now. Me, I'm sorry, but I don't work here and I'm sure there's someone up front who can help you. Karen started to respond when Grandma came back and said, I'm done, let's go now. We started walking off, which Karen really didn't like and shouted, get back here and help me now. Grandma stopped and looked at Karen saying, what's going on? This is my granddaughter and we're leaving now. Karen's response was, it's because I'm Asian race. I honestly forget which one she said. Grandma said, she doesn't work here, we're leaving now. Karen's response was, BS. I saw her helping you, she works here. Then, Grandma snapped and said, listen here you bleeping bleep. What makes you think she works here? Is it the black leather jacket, the green tank top, or the jean shorts? How stupid can you bleeping be? Find another employee who is wearing that and I'll buy your bleeping groceries. But if you can't, get the bleep out of here and leave us the bleep alone. Karen went quiet and I thought for a moment that I was gonna have to break up a fight and I had never heard Grandma use language like that. Just then, an actual employee came into sight and Grandma waved him down and told him that Karen needed help and then told Karen, here's an employee who can help you, now leave us the bleep alone, and we started walking off. Wasn't good enough for Karen who had to get the last word in, no. I want her to do her job and help me now. Which I thought was going to set Grandma off again, but we continued walking off and heard the employee say, ma'am, she doesn't work here, now how may I help you? That was the last we heard before we were out of earshot and never heard about it again. In the car on the way home, Grandma suddenly turned bright red and told me, what I said was unladylike and I hope you never use those words or tell anyone I used them. I couldn't help but burst out laughing, telling a very embarrassed Grandma, where did you learn such language like that? She never told me, but I was proud of her for letting it all out. This happened about 5 years ago, so apologies if it's not entirely accurate, but I hope you get the basics of it. Though English is my first language, it was also my worst subject in school, so I'm sorry for any mistakes I may have made. Also, Grandma is still alive and well and I took my shift with her down to the grocery store last Sunday. She still gets mad if I say, sucks, but when she starts to lecture me on it, I remind her of this moment and I've heard her say much worse. The next story is titled I Don't Work For You, specifically. Was talking to a friend earlier and was reminded of this story. A couple years back, I worked for a very large resort-style place. It was where some very, very wealthy people had vacation homes. This place was huge, as it was basically its own town, and I happened to be in a small subsection of the largest department. Now, it's important to note that the uniforms my small team wore were completely different from the vast majority of people in this department because we were very specialized. We wore blue shirts and gray pants, most of the rest of the department wore green shirts with khaki pants. Actually, I'm fairly certain that we were the only team, other than the on-site EMTs, who had blue uniforms. It was a big place, lots of employees, so most everyone in public-facing jobs were essentially color-coded. Anyways, it was literally my second to last day on the job and I had to go to the main office for the department, because that's where we kept things that we didn't need all the time. Space was extremely limited in our office. I run inside, pick up the box that we need, and head back out to my vehicle. A lady who is wearing a green shirt walks up to me, and since I try to be a decent person, I smile and say hello. Lady, oh, perfect, I need help taking a whole bunch of crap over to the banquet hall. Me, very clearly holding a heavy box that is labeled for my team, I'm on a tight schedule, sorry, my team worked a very time-sensitive position, I'm talking down to the second sometimes. Lady, that can wait, I need help now. Me, I'm really sorry, but I need to get this to. Lady, I don't care you need to help me. Me, completely out of ducks to give, not to be rude, but you aren't my supervisor, and my actual supervisor will tear me a new one if I don't get back to our office right now. Lady, I am going to tell, head of department, about this. Me, over my shoulder as I walk away, go ahead, he's in his office right now, I just said hi to him. Anyways, I headed over to my office and pretty much forgot about the interaction because we were slammed that day and it was non-stop until we closed. The next day was my last day on the job, so I wasn't surprised to see the head of the department show up when my shift was almost over. He was a really good guy, one of the best upper management types I have ever met, and really made an effort to get to know everyone in his department. My supervisor and I greeted him and we chatted while I finished cleaning up my station. Department head, suddenly very grave, Op. I got a very concerning report about you yesterday. Me and my supervisor. Department head, apparently you refused to give assistance to lady when she asked for it. Me, oh yeah. I was bringing supplies from storage back here and didn't have time. She was kinda rude. Department head, grinning widely at his own joke, well, in that case I'm afraid that I'll have to let you go if you don't apologize to her. Me, I'm terribly sorry it has to end this way. Department head, but I must stick to my principles. He laughed, shook my hand, and told me I could always count on him for a good reference while my supervisor cackled in the background. It wasn't a perfect job, but it was one of the better ones and I'll always be a little sad that I had to move away. But at least it ended with a pretty good chuckle. The next story is titled I Don't Work Here but I Can Make You Some Vietnamese Food. I'm originally from Vietnam but have been living in the state for quite a long time. One day, I went to a Thai restaurant with my friends that we were regular and even became friends with all of the staff. I overheard a woman sitting behind us talking about a dish she had had in Vietnam that was really good but couldn't remember its name or find it anywhere. And it was what she really wanted for her birthday. From what she described, I knew exactly what she meant and decided to give it a go. It's not something popular like pho or spring rolls, and normally served at home or local restaurants along with cheap craft beer. So it's understandable that she couldn't find it here. I went to the kitchen, asked people there if I could do that for her, and if they had the ingredients. They're okay and had everything, so I made it. It's a pork belly dish with the skin on that you fry the meat on high heat until golden. Get as much fat out as possible. Then pour in the sauce mixture of oyster sauce, fish sauce, sugar, pepper, MSG, lime juice, chili, plus lots of shallot, garlic and chopped spring onions. I served that with some steamed rice, some fresh basils and a cold can of beer. I brought it over and told her that I didn't work there but would love to serve her the food that I had overheard she was talking about. She was surprised at first and later went to give me a big hug. The staff enjoyed the dish as well. So I guess everyone was happy. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel and post some bear emojis in the comments.